we got a joker now. Trump is in court again, this time for rape. Jean Carroll, a writer and advice columnist, accused Trump of sexually assaulting her in the mid-1990s. And recently, Trump was deposed in the case. And of course, some of his comments have made headlines. He admitted to the infamous grab them by the pussy comment and from the leaked Access Hollywood tape. And he stated that during the deposition, he stated, fortunately, that's what they let you do. Fortunately or unfortunately, that's what they let you do when you're a star. He also mentioned that he had never met Carroll despite a photo of them at a party together. So let's take a look at this video.
In front of you, a black and white photograph.
I don't even know who the woman. Let's see. I don't know who. It's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
The person you just pointed to was Jean Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
He pointed to the
You
woman.
used a strange word, which I want to ask you about. You say she completely made up a story that I met her at the doors of this crowded New York City department store, and within minutes swooned her. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What is swoon for me?
That would be a word, maybe accurate or not, having to do with talking to her and talking to her to do an act that she said happened, which didn't happen. And it's a nicer word than the word that starts with an F.
Dictionary means to faint with extreme emotion. That's not what you meant here. Objection form.
Well, sort of. That's what she said I did to her. She fainted with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay? She loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm. It's your testimony that Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper, I believe that's what took place.
In the interview, when Ms. Carroll talked about rape being sexy, isn't it true that she said that's a view that many other people hold?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. All I know is I believe she said rape is sexy or something to that effect.
Fair to say, you'd agree with me, would you not, that you use the term hoax quite a lot?
Yes, I do.
CNN reported that you used it more than 250 times in 2020. Does that sound right?
Could be. I've had a lot of hoaxes played on me. This is one of them.
Isn't it true that you also referred to the use of mail-in ballots as a hoax?
Yeah, I do. Sure. I do.
And isn't it true that you yourself have voted by mail?
I do. I do. Sometimes I do, but I don't know what happens to it once you give it. I have no idea.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with a woman by the name of Natasha Stoynoff?
No.
Natasha Stoynoff.
Oh, I do remember there was some woman that wrote, and then she, a long time later, I think she wrote a wonderful story, and then a long time later, as I remember it, a long time later she said that I was aggressive with her.
Are you familiar with a woman by the name of Jessica Leeds?
This woman made up a story, just like your client made it up. Just made up a story having to do with sitting next to me in an airplane.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
Here you are with something that's often referred to as the Access Hollywood tape.
Yes, I am.
Yes, in that video was Billy Bush.
That's right.
Please
This is very old news, fully litigated during debates, during everything else, fully litigated.
Okay.
And you know what I said then, and I say it now? Locker room talk. That was locker room talk.
Okay.
That's what goes on.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. By the pussy, you could do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they have women by the pussy?
Well, if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true.
A million years?
Unfortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
What? He's so full of it.
That's Gianni's friend. We're going to call that Gianni's friend.
No.
He is hilarious.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
So Carroll's legal team has been trying to use Trump's past statements as evidence, arguing that his controversial remarks and behavior towards women make the alleged assault more plausible. This is a civil case, so it's benefit of the doubt, sort of, instead of what do they call it? Anyway, so now Trump continues to say his comments are just locker room talk. So my question to you guys is, should locker room talk or something you said on TV be enough evidence to use in court? I'll start with Gianni.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I have an argument in defense of it and also not in defense. So
in defense of Trump, we're gonna zoom in on Gianni. We're gonna have to zoom in on Gianni. We need to.
So in defense of the whole locker room talk, it's kind of arguable that these types of behind the scenes private conversations shouldn't be taken to the courtroom if it doesn't directly have to do with the crime itself. So like, if you want to help paint a picture about that person,
okay,
so the jury can kind of make a conclusion, then that's where that's helpful, but it's technically biased if it doesn't have to do with the direct crime itself. But not in defense of him, there are rappers, and me and Neo talked about this too the other day, but there are rappers that are getting locked up for their lyrics, and that are still in jail for their lyrics and being criminalized by their lyrics. So I think that, yeah, it's only fair for politicians and the like to be charged because of something that they said, as long as it directly criminalizes them.
Well, wasn't your argument with the rappers? Your argument was that their lyrics should not be used as a means as evidence, right? Their lyrics should not be used. Yeah. That was your argument before. So their lyrics should not be used.
Yes, but it legally
you're saying
is.
So it is, fair. But you're saying in the effort to be fair, it should, in this case, be used as evidence. But in general, you don't believe that these type of things should be used as evidence. I see what you're saying.
Not necessarily, because like when it comes to the defense of artists and even actors and stuff like that, they're creating art. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have a way of separating the art from the artist. So I feel like, how can we mix that?
You're just making a distinction between creative content as opposed to conversation.
Right. Yes. Thanks, Rob. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fair. Robbie?
Well, like everything else, Trump claims it never happened. It's a hoax. I love that bit that he does. But like Johnny said, let's be honest, locker room talk does happen. But in this instance, not only did he repeat it during the deposition, he defended it. And he said, yes, he's the kind of person who is entitled to this sort of behavior. He wasn't joking around during that segment of his deposition. He wasn't telling an ill-advised locker room joke. He tried to normalize the behavior by saying that stars have been doing this for the last million years. And he doubles down that he considers himself a star in his follow-up answer. Yeesh. Yeah.
Where did he get a million years?
Well, he's graduated everything anyway.
What?
Yeah. But I think that in this instance, the comments do go beyond locker talk and establish modus operandi. This is how he is, and I think that his comments support the prosecution. Yeah, he really did not do himself any favors during the deposition, the way that he worded things. And the last thing that the defense would want is to put this clown on the stand.
Oh my God!
Because every time he opens his mouth, he incriminates himself. He says stupid stuff. So I would love to see it, because he keeps saying, I'm ready for the challenge. Just put me out there. But he'll never do it.
Yes,
the good thing is they've closed their cases, so they're all good on that. The deposition is the extent of it. But Mike Winter, in my intro, I couldn't get the words. I couldn't remember the words. I was trying to, how my brain works sometimes. I'm getting old. But he says benefit of the doubt is not a legal standard, sir. Yes, I know. Preponderance of the evidence is what I was looking for.
Yep.
So preponderance of the evidence is what I was
legal
looking
jargon.
For. Yeah, so that is correct. Rules of evidence allow access Hollywood statement because it is evidence of his attitude towards women that supports his pattern of behavior, which is accurate.
Yep.
Yeah, my thoughts. I mean, you know how I love Trump. You know, he's my favorite person on the planet.
Love-hate
Yeah, you do.
relationship.
Yeah, you do.
No, I totally hate Trump. So, but he's just so sleazy. He's just sleazy. You could tell throughout the deposition he was lying. I mean, it's just so easy to. He doesn't even lie well. I don't even know how a jury could not look at that and be like, "This is a lying." Well, you know.
Yeah, he's very careless with his speech. He doesn't care.
So let me ask you: do you think it's true the stars have gotten away with grabbing women by the pussy for like 1,000,000 years?
I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I think so.
I think that there's an abuse of power. Anyone that's in a position of power or authority, they can absolutely abuse that, and there are bad apples everywhere. So I think that we don't have to relegate it to the entertainment world, but yeah, if you look at high-ranking, prominent people, these types of
So they're all
scandals
grabbing
and
people by the pussy.
incidents
Is what you're
are.
saying.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of this weird entitlement, right, with power and money and influence. Where it's just like,
yeah.
And some of them get away with it, and some of them don't. So, yeah, I think he's kind of right about that.
All right. So you think if he gets convicted, well, if he gets a guilty response, do you think it's going to negatively impact his campaign?
He's done. A lot of people hate him already.
Yeah, I don't know. His sycophants are just, they stick to him like glue, man. It's crazy. So but I think what I've said in the past is that I think that this will give the moderates supporters an opportunity to stray away. That this will give them an opportunity to break off. But the really crazy right wings aren't going anywhere. They're gonna keep supporting him through thick and thin.
An important thing to remind people: this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. So he's not actually being criminally charged for rape. So there's no jail time involved.
The burden of proof is reduced. Yeah, and the burden of proof is reduced.
Yeah, preponderance of evidence.
Case. Yep.
Instead of reasonable doubt. Yep. All right. So let me get to these comments. We have a bunch on this one.
Trump.
Yeah. Mike Winter says probably wouldn't be admitted in a criminal case because it's more prejudicial than probative. Absolutely. Tracy Gore, anyone who chooses to be in the public eye should be accountable for their conduct, including words said. A higher level conduct should be expected. Jacqueline Robinson, we also have to remember that this is a defamation case stemming from IQ 45's trashing of Miss Carroll's character. This goes to his attitude as well as his framing of his comments, which he has done repeatedly. Mike Winter, let's not forget that she isn't his type, although he misidentified her as his ex, Marla.
Right. But I mean, let's face it.
You're not my type, but you look just like my ex-wife, huh?
Every woman that
Why would he say that?
entangled with is not his type. Come on, man. He's not leading man material himself. He just had money.
But later in the deposition, they whittled it down to he kind of lashes out at anyone who attacks him or gets at him or something like that. So if you listen to the deposition, it pretty much comes to nobody's his type, no woman is his type if they go after him.
I just can't believe he was our president. Like
right?
No, that's not, like I just. My brain
we
won't
can't
let me
believe it was your president.
Yeah, Rob's lucky. He doesn't have to own that.
Oh, come on, dude. The influence is oh my God. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. He has radicalized Canadian politics as well because our conservatives have jumped onto his rhetoric. And it's
but you don't have to actually own Trump as your president. So
right.
We
claim it.
Yeah, we have to actually claim that.
Yeah, by proxy, we have to.
Jose says this was a special moment. What a buffoon. All right, is this truth, lies, shenanigans?
This gives me
shenanigans.
Yep, here it is. Shenanigan.
Shenanigans. I guess that's my boy. I have to own him.
He's the king of shenanigans.
I have so much hate for him. It's just I have to own him.
It fuels you. It fuels you.
It's just, yeah, it's me.